Hey guys, what's up? So in this one, we're going to be covering the Surt guild boss for P5X Global version 2.0. This is week 2 of the guild bosses, and Surt is another returner. No real special effects to write home about. Obviously, this is like follow-up damage is increased by 50%. So as always, this is like the Fox boss. Ice damage increased by 20%. This Berserk effect where they just get stronger every turn. And again, this you need a Guardian or a Medic on the team, or they do lots more damage and you do less damage. So here's the team we're going to be running. I'm going to be going Rin 1, Yuki 2, Fox 3, and Wonder 4 with Phoebe as our navigator. So this is, if you've seen any other like Surt content in the past couple of weeks, obviously he's been around quite a bit, and this team is kind of like the standard team I've used, although I have changed it a little bit. I'm going with Phoebe here instead of Puppet, just to try and play a little bit more on the ice damage, which you'll see. I'm using the Ex Machina dagger as well. I don't know, maybe the all-in dagger is just, you know, flat out better. It might be, but like I said, because I'm slotting Phoebe in here, I figure why not just use the Ex Machina, test it out, do something a little bit different from kind of like the normal. Like I said, Surt's been around like 3 times in the last like 5 guild boss cycles, so it's nice to like try something a little bit different, even if it's mostly like the same thing. But yeah, so with that said, like I said before, we're using the Ex Machina dagger here. Again, if you don't have this duped out, or you just think the all-in dagger is better, go ahead and use it. Like, I don't have any super strong opinion on it. But as for the personas, we're going to be using, I finally have King Frost, so we'll be using King Frost, Dionysus, and then I'm using Yamato no Orochi. There's definitely a case to be made that Jack Frost is better here, just because Jack Frost's highlight is an AoE highlight. But what I found is like Jack Frost's highlight for me would do like 60k damage, you know, to all 5 enemies, whereas Yamato no Orochi's would do like 40 to 1. But the difference is Yamato no Orochi's skill 1 did like way more damage than Jack Frost's Mabufu. So I'm just going to go with this. But yeah, so like I said, I now have Jack Frost. So with Jack Frost, obviously all we're going to need is Snow King's Protection. We're just going to be using this every other turn. That's kind of the rotation with King Frost. And I'll go over his passive briefly just because this is the first time I've used him in a video. So obviously he increases defense 37.4%, which I don't know if this is team-wide. It's probably just for Wonder. But after shielding an ally, increases main target's defense by 18%. Or increase ice damage by 10%. So both of these very good, because Fox scales on both of these, obviously. So you're always picking Fox as the main target for this. So he's either getting an 18% defense bump, which Fox's damage scales on defense, not attack, or he's getting an ice damage increase of 10%. So either way, Fox is getting like, you know, like a double buff, because he's already getting 30% defense up just by being shielded by Snow King's protection. So he's either getting like a cumulative 48% defense up, or he's getting a 30% defense up and a 10% ice damage boost. So I mean, this unit is basically made just for Fox. So, and then no surprise here, considering we didn't use Dionysus on the Wonder side this week, we get to use him here instead of, you know, trying to slot in like Homokuten or Succubus or something. So as always with Dionysus, Revolution and Rebellion, we'll be using both of them in this fight. So and then, like I said, we're using Yamato no Orochi here. Again, if you want to use Jack Frost here because of the highlight, if you didn't know, like the persona highlights are based on, obviously, like their element typing and then their role. So like Jack Frost is, I think it's called a sweeper, but it's like the AoE attack. And this is like the, I forget what it's called. I forget the names, but this is like single target attack, and Jack Frost is like an AoE attacker. I just felt like I was getting more out of this and the single target highlight versus like the AoE highlight and the weaker AoE attack. Then as for card sets, Fox is running Meditation and Opulence. My Fox does not have very good crit rate. I have just had like not very much good luck on Fox cards. Phoebe is running Trust and Power. Again, I think I mentioned this last time, but I think Phoebe scales much better off of like the new card sets that are made specifically for the Navis. I just haven't had the materials or stamina. I've been using it on other stuff. Yuki is running Trust and Prosperity. You will need someone to have Prosperity in this, whether it's Yuki or Rin. I recommend probably Yuki here. And then Rin is running Departure and Control. Yeah, I don't have too much else to cover in this. This is like kind of your standard Surt boss. You know, we've done this before. So the only like other note that I would say that I have is obviously our Rin is A1. If you don't have an A1 Rin, just kind of reverse what you're doing here. Just use skill 1 on turn 1, skill 3 on turn 2. I'll be using skill 3 on turn 1, skill 1 on turn 2, and you know, and so on and so on. You'll just be like on an opposite rotation as me. All right, so as always, Surt is attacking first. I really hate these ones where the boss goes first. I don't know why. I just don't like it. And obviously, as always, this is like such a super heavy like RNG fight because you're dependent on Fox for follow-ups outside of the 2 turns that he's got his like his highlight active. So, but anyway, Rin will start off with Lion Dance. Again, if you're a 0, you'll go ahead and use Underworld Fairy to start here. Yuki will use Sacred Glow on Fox. Fox will go ahead and use Kenai. And then Wonder with King Frost will use Snow King's Protection on Fox. And if you are using the Ex Machina Dagger, make sure that you know, King Frost or your other ice unit is your lead persona. Pretty good luck with the follow-ups there, actually, for once. Now Phoebe's up. If you're using Phoebe, you don't have to use Phoebe. You can bring Puppet. If you're using Puppet, just use her. Kind of the rotation I was doing was every time she came up, she'll go 3 times in this fight. Go skill 2, then skill 1, and then skill 3 on the last time she gets to act. But if you're using Phoebe, go ahead and I'm going to use Enchanting Stir on Fox. You don't get like the optimal, like you don't get the 2 premium cocktails out of Phoebe at all during this fight just because Fox is the only ice unit attacking. So that's why I kind of thought like maybe you could mix Soy in here or something, try and synergize it a little bit better. But I still think this team, like I think Rin and Yuki just like do more for Fox than Soy does. So but anyway, we're going to go ahead and use skill 1 now. Again, if you use skill 1 on turn 1, you use skill 3 here, etc. And then we're going to go ahead with Yuki, and we're going to use her highlight on one of the Jack Frosts. And then we'll target that same Jack Frost with her skill 3. Again, you want to kind of like main target the Jack Frost just because they have like a lower like base defense stat than Surt does. And you get the same amount of points from attacking them or Surt, so it just makes more sense to kind of target these guys for stuff. And now Fox will go ahead and use Bone Chilling Fold. Alright, so Wonder, so King Frost basically needs to act like every other turn because his shield lasts 2 turns and he gives the defense like passively while they have the shield. So we're going to go ahead and swap, and we're going to use Revolution on Dionysus. And main target Fox to get the extra crit damage from his passive. The reason you don't use Rebellion there is because if you wait till the next time Dionysus is going to go, you'll have Rebellion for like the last 3 turns of the fight, whereas like... But now that Phoebe's back up, we're going to go ahead and use skill 3 on Fox. Again, I guess there's a case to be made. You could just like hold Phoebe out until she has 2 stacks of her cocktail and then use it, you know, on like the next turn or whatever. But I found like this way you get 2 instances of her doing her, like, so you get like 4 turns with Fox having the buff instead of just like the 2. If that makes any sense. And then Rin will go ahead and use skill 3 again. Yuki will go back to Sacred Glow on Fox. And now Fox will go back to Kenai. And then highlights are up, so Fox is going to go ahead and highlight here. And then Wonder is going to switch back to King Frost, and we'll use Snow King's Protection on Yusuke. And now Fox should be following up just automatically from the highlights, so we no longer have to worry about some of that RNG. Alright, Rin is back up. We'll go ahead and use skill 1. Yuki will use Absolute Judgment. Fox back to Bone Chilling Fold. Phoebe is up again, so we'll go ahead and use Phoebe's skill 2 on Fox. And then Wonder is going to switch back to Dionysus, and now we'll use Rebellion on Fox. I guess there's a case to be made to do it the other way because Wonder's attacking on the last turn, so maybe Revolution there instead of Rebellion is better, but Fox is still, like, my main damage dealer for this fight, so, like, giving him everything I can possibly give him is, you know, I don't know, feels better to me, I don't know, but you can consider flipping the way I'm using Revolution and Rebellion. Now that Rin's got her soup again, we'll go ahead and use skill 3. Alright, highlights are up, so now you should be on Dionysus here. Again, if you don't have Dionysus and you had to bring, you know, Komakuten or you brought Succubus, you'd be on them right now. You want to use the highlight, the damage up highlight that those guys give, so we'll go ahead and use that. Back to Sacred Glow with Yuki on Fox. Fox will use Kenai. And then Wonder will switch back to King Frost here. Actually, almost forgot like the most important thing. Phoebe, skill 3 on Fox. Now Wonder will swap back to King Frost and use Snow King's Protection on Yusuke. Nice. I forget what my best score is here. I don't know if this is like on pace for it or not. I think like 6-8 maybe. So I don't know if we're gonna get there, but Rin back to skill 1. Yuki, skill 3 for this damage up. Fox back to Bone Chilling Cold. Alright, and now we are going to switch to Yamato. I guess you have a choice to make. Like, if you think that, like, I'd have to do the math on it, I guess, but, like, I guess you could use, like, Rin's highlight here and then use the Raging Blizzard. I'm just going to go ahead and use this because, I don't know, it feels like it makes the most sense to just do this. To just, like, get the flat damage out. But this should do, like, 40-ish. 52, so I don't know. I must have done something differently on this run. And then we'll go ahead and use Raging Blizzard. We didn't break 7. Kind of my goal was to break 7, but 28-8, so I'm pretty happy with that. Again, maybe Jack Frost with the AoE highlight would have been better. Maybe Rin highlight into Yamato no Orochi's skill would have been better, but I'm pretty happy with 28-8. This is like such a weird, like, this is like such a weird guild boss cycle that, I don't know. I'm not doing like my best scores this run. I'm not super happy with either of the sides, but like I think they're both respectable enough for kind of how strange this cycle's been. But yeah, nothing like super out of the ordinary. It's another, you know, another Surt boss. Getting a little bit sick of Surt, although I guess I prefer him over, like, I don't know why, but I really hate the Yui boss. And then I'm like kind of sick of the Queen boss too, to be honest. But I guess I'd rather have that than, well, maybe not. I don't know. Surt and the Queen boss are definitely have kind of overstayed their welcome here a little bit. I'd like to see like a little bit more variety. I know there's only so much they can do with what units are in the game right now, but we do have like the summer units coming next patch, so I imagine we'll probably get like new, like a Bless boss potentially, which I guess if you're not pulling Summer Closer, that's going to be a tough run. But yeah, that should be exciting. And then again, just like slot-ins if you don't have a lot of these units. All these personas can be replaced with other personas. Like if you don't have King Frost, just use Mithras, kind of like we've done on the other Fox Surt bosses. Dionysus, you know, Succubus or Komakuten will be fine. Komakuten more so if you have Rebellion on him. And yeah, if you don't have Phoebe, obviously just go ahead and use Puppet. That's fine too. And yeah, that's kind of all I really had for this one. So you know, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you have any ideas for like videos for me for the next 8 days and 12 hours. I don't really have anything now that I'm done with all the bosses and stuff. If you guys have anything for me, leave it in the comments, questions, you know, anything you're confused on, maybe more like general game stuff. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Really appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Accepted my fate, don't worry about a thing, it's in my bag, so burn my dread. Belittled by the situation.